Well, for more analysis, now I'm joined on the set by our Philip Turle. Philip, how do you see all this playing out? What's next for Boris Johnson?
It's not a very good day for Boris Johnson. If you look at those results that we were just hearing in that report there, Boris Johnson may have won this no confidence vote and got 211 of his MPs in favour. But it still means he's sitting in a cabinet meeting right now in number 10 Downing Street. 4 out of his MPs in the House of Commons voted against him. So even some of his own cabinet, who are sitting round the table in 10 Downing Street as we speak, have probably voted against the Prime Minister. So if you look back in time to how this has all played out with previous prime ministers who've been subjected to a no-confidence vote. Back in 2018, Theresa May came out better than Boris Johnson. She got 36.9% of no confidence in her. She only lasted for another 6 months. She was out of office. That was quite a long time compared to 2 of her predecessors, John Major, who got 27% of negative votes. He lost the next election landslide to the Labour Party. And back in 1990, Margaret Thatcher was only in office for 2 days after she lost a no-confidence vote by almost as much a margin as Boris Johnson, by 40.9%. So Boris Johnson's not out of the woods. And what he is facing now is a rebellion within his own Conservative Party between those who support him, those 60%, and those who don't support him, the 40%, some of whom are sitting around the table in 10 Downing Street right now.
So, Philip, talk us through the timing of the vote. This whole Partygate scandal dates back to 2 years now. Why is all this happening only now?
Well, there are several factors that are all coming together, if you like. He was perceived to begin with as being the leader who could reach parts that other leaders, other Conservative Party MPs couldn't reach. And that was why the Conservative Party dominated the north of England, the so-called Red Wall that was a Labour stronghold, and managed to take on some of those towns and win them in the 2019 elections. And he was a whole commodity with the hairdo, the bluster, the lies, but people liked him. And I think the perception now is that because of Partygate, because of the lies that have come through, there's a big disaffection with Boris Johnson. So 65% of British voters say they don't like him anymore, compared to only 34%. And the feeling is that whereas in the old days voters would have laughed alongside Boris Johnson, given him the benefit of the doubt, because of the Partygate scandal, the voters are thinking, well, hold on a minute, he seems to be laughing at us and not taking us seriously. There are 2 sets of rules, a rule that has been set for us by the Prime Minister and the rules that the Prime Minister doesn't have to obey. And that is why there's this ill feeling in the United Kingdom as far as Boris Johnson is concerned. And I think it all came to a head at the weekend, in reply to your question, during the Jubilee celebrations, when you heard the boos that were given him as he walked up the stairs of St Paul's Cathedral, the steps of St Paul's Cathedral on Saturday for a Thanksgiving service. And many MPs have gone back to their constituents, and constituents have said, we're unhappy with Boris Johnson, you're going to have to do something. And that's why so many of them have sent their letters to the 1922 Backbench Committee asking for a vote of confidence yesterday, which took place, and why we've seen this score of Boris Johnson getting 41% of negative approval ratings. And there's been lots of plays on words saying the boos that he got as he walked up those steps to St Paul's Cathedral are the same as the problems concerning the booze that was handed out at number 10 Downing Street during the Partygate saga. And Boris Johnson's days are now numbered. What he does have, Jeannie, in his favour is that there's no really strong candidate to take over who could launch a push to get rid of Boris Johnson really quickly. There are a few people lining up to try to take his place. Jeremy Hunt, for example, is one of them in the Conservative Party who's tried before. But there's no really strong candidate, and that is something that Boris Johnson knows that he has in his favour. But I think the next few days, weeks and months are going to be very difficult for Boris Johnson.